You are never going to be that dude that gets what he wants, and that dude that she wants to be with and wants to sleep with. I mean, probably. But if there's a chance, you might want to listen to this one all the way to the end. What's going on? Paul, elevate with Paul. All right. We're going to have elevated discussions about mindsets, sex, dating, and relationship related issues. Okay. I chose violence today. I admit it. I chose violence today. Those of you guys who follow me, you know that I'm not that egotistical. I really don't think much about these things, but there's a reason that I want to share some things with you. Okay. Um, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey, if you want to call it like that. Sounds like a girl on Twitter when I say it like that. But I'm going to share with you a little story and some personal stuff about me. And some of these things might change or impact your life forever. Okay. And it's my journey of becoming a Chad. So what is a Chad? Well, first of all, there's words like alpha, Chad, Tyrone, right? Whatever. Like you can start filling in the blanks or whatever of these types of words and what these mean. I never think about these things. I don't walk around all day thinking about whether I'm this thing or that thing, and I don't have some sort of, I don't know, fantasy archetype that I'm shooting towards. Nor do I want you guys to shoot towards any kind of fantasy archetype either. I want you to be you. Okay. But what do we mean by Chad? Chad is really a term that, for the purpose of today, is just a dude that girls want to sleep with, that girls keep coming back to. Okay. So, you know, that is what it is. Okay. That's just a girl that girls keep wanting to sleep with this dude. He has certain traits and certain things about him, and that's it, and it makes girls want to kind of keep coming back. Okay. He has that sort of behavior. And so now I want to say to start off too, okay, this opens me up for a lot of douchebags to make their little criticisms in the comment section. So please, douchebags, please make your criticisms. I don't give a fuck. All right. I really don't fucking care. Okay. And that's the thing. Nameless, faceless douchers on Twitter and some of the guys that will show up inevitably in a comment section when I do a video titled like this. That's what it comes out to be. You guys will never look like me. You'll never be like me. You'll never have what I have. So go fuck yourself. Now, for the rest of you who are interested in learning something, okay, I'm not this genetic Chad, first off. All right. I have a physique, I have some genetic qualities, most of which I worked at. To me, when I think of like a Chad, I think of somebody like, you guys might know, Jay Waller. All right. I had a chance to meet Jay. He was a great dude, a great host, and he has his platforms and stuff. To me, he's a Chad. He's like 6'4", and just has like he's worked at it while what he has, but he has a look of what I would think is more of a genetic Chad. Okay. That's not really me. And I don't really, again, care about this stuff or think about this stuff. These are things. This is sort of a description. Before it was Chad, it was maybe different words used to describe the same thing that other people used to describe me when they would sort of hear about my lifestyle and some things that go on. I don't think I'm that special. I'm just doing what I do to live my life to the fullest, which is all that I want you guys to do also. All right. And I do have certain skill sets, though, some things that I would consider myself and other people would consider me an expert in. And so those are the things that I share with you here. And those are the things that I help guys with their development on in coaching platforms and stuff like that and what I do. Okay. So that's just starting off there. You can you guys have your own goofy definitions. It's just the dude that chicks want to bang, right? How do you become that? And some of you guys are never that. You've never been that, and you never will be that. And the reason why you won't be that It's not because of the genetics and how you were born. That's that black pill shit. And it's not real. Okay. It's your behaviors and it's because of things that you're doing and what you're not willing to do. And so we'll get into that. But I'm going to share a little bit about my personal self, my personal story. This is putting a big target on me, of course, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. All right, because anytime you talk about yourself, and of course you make, egotistical clickbait, people are going to have something to say. Most of those people, again, are not doing as well as me. All right, it's usually hate comes from below. That's generally true. Okay, so this isn't an ego play on my part, though. This is just to give you guys some lessons. Now, we'll kind of start off like when I was really young. Now we're talking like high school, middle school. I was not a Chad at that point. I wouldn't consider, I was not that guy because I had behaviors that made me unattractive to women. I didn't look bad. You know what I'm saying? I looked all right. Oftentimes, like if I looked at my friend group, I looked better than a lot of people in my friends group. I wouldn't say I was the best looking, but I was certainly in the top, you know, 20% or so out of my friend group, maybe. Okay. So it was I would say it was one of the better looking people. However, they did better than me. I didn't do that well. Okay. And there were barriers and upbringing and social conditioning and a lot of reasons why that was. And the weird thing was, is it wasn't like I had what we might call like really beta traits necessarily, except for with women. I was training to fight and competitive fighting and martial arts and, did some sports. I mean, I did stuff that made me athletic and made me physically, capable. In the thumbnail, my one of the photos there, yeah, to the left of the thumbnail is a picture of me when I was really young doing some WWE style wrestling that I did as kind of a fun little thing that I did with one of my little brother, and actually just playing with guys who do that stuff, and I had a character and all this stuff, right? So that was like some a fun thing. So it was like whatever. So I had these things. In fact, in terms of physical domination, I was known as a person who could take care of myself in a fight. But when it came to women, I just wasn't very good with that. Okay. In fact, I didn't actually get laid till I was 19 years old. All right. And it wasn't because of my religious beliefs. All right. Now, I did have certain things, like I had some opportunities that I totally missed over my head because I had no awareness at that young age with women or understanding of any of it. I would have girls that would they kind of be attracted to me, but it was kind of an ongoing joke with my friend group. Like I could friend zone myself literally in 10 minutes with a girl, you know, and it was just like I had these qualities and traits, except for when I got in front of a chick and it all fell apart. All right. So that's like how it started. All right. Not a chat, not by definition, Chad or alpha or any of that stuff. Okay. Some might think the alpha thing because of being, a little bit more physically dominant, a little bit more physically capable, but it just wasn't showing up in my dating and sex life when I was young. Fast forward, okay, 19 years old. All right. I get my first lay. All right. How does that happen? I'm working in an office, I'm going to school, I'm doing some courier work, and this chick, was working in one of the other offices, and I made the approach, and I don't remember, but ended up, talking to her and stuff. And she kind of helped everything along. I set up things on some sort of a date or hangout where we hung out, and I ended up at her house. Basically, she was moving things along. All right. She was somebody who she was a year older than me. I was 19. I don't think she was drinking age yet. She was like 20. And she was promiscuous as hell, right? She was the town 304. She had been through a lot of experiences. I had almost no experience, very little experience, right? And well, none in terms of sexual, right, before her. And so we started banging. Okay, we had our first little thing. All right, and so now we're banging, and this girl, well, I consider her a good first partner for me in some ways. She was a little out there, a little crazy. She wanted to have sex constantly. So we would like all the time, multiple times a day, you know. Now I'm enjoying myself. I'm like, hell yeah, this is what I've been wanting since I was, since I started becoming like in the middle school, dude. Like this is exactly what I wanted, and she was decent enough looking, right? She was good looking. And so like I'm having a great time. And I'm also sitting here thinking, like, damn, this girl has a lot of experience. So I have to start figuring things out in the bedroom and learning some stuff. And this is kind of related to our talk we did yesterday. Yesterday's talk was about an hour and a half, and we talked mainly about sex. And I'm being pretty blunt with you guys about some things, because a lot of you guys, you don't do shit and you're not fucking getting any better. So I'm here to help, and a lot of you guys won't even help yourselves. So, so I'm going to be blunt, all right, with a lot of things. At any rate, so she's like enjoying things that are happening between us. Of course, honeymoon phase, whatever. And it's like I'm learning about set, and I start looking stuff up like immediately. Like now, this is before I'm old now, right? So this is in the 90s. This is before you could just go to an internet forum or Reddit and be like, how do I bang, or whatever dudes do. you know you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have like sex education in terms of how to be better in the bedroom. It was kind of an underground thing. And I started getting into that information, started off with libraries, but, reading about sexual psychology a little bit. And I was also in school and stuff and doing that. Right. And I'm figuring stuff out, and I'm getting better, right, with this girl. And she's liking it. She's like, man, he's like a porn star and all this stuff. She's bragging to her friends. Great. Works for me. All right. But I'm, still there's a lot of things I'm figuring out. You know what I mean? Most of it was probably just all pent up from not having been laid my entire teenage years until I was 19. And so whatever. But I'm learning stuff, and she was kind of like a good person to learn with too, because she would talk about stuff, and sort of knowing that I was an experience, she would we would have these conversations, we communicate a bit. And at my 19, being such a young person, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get what she's putting down here in terms of what she's looking for, what she wants. I could read between the lines, and then I would make things happen in the sexual scenario. So that was nice too, right? Now, the thing about her though was I knew that this was not going to end well. And I wasn't that crazy about her, which is good. Right? I was good. She wanted sex. She was like practically nymphomaniac, wanting sex constantly. But I knew like there's something wrong with her. And that, given her background, her history, and her behavior, she is going to screw me over hardcore. This is not going to end well. Right? I'm going to have to end it, or something's going to happen. Right? And so like I'm like, look, I know that she's going to drop. I don't have this crush like this, these crazy emotions for her. I'm just enjoying what's happening and learning about something that I hadn't been able to make happen for myself yet in all my teenage years. So that's where I was at. But kind of knew this was going to end badly. And sure as shit, it did. All right. So you guys can talk all the shit you want. I will share. I don't care. Okay. But so how it ends, all right, is I have to study for exams, and I'm not doing well that semester because I am spending too much time with her and banging her all the time. She wanted my attention. She wanted, sex and attention constantly. And I also worked, and I also trained, at the boxing gym, and then I'm what, I'm trying to fit school in, not working out too well. So I was at a point where like I had to I had to study and prep for these exams that week or I wasn't going to make it, you know? And so my military background, for those of you know that I have that started later. I got my undergrad finished and started grad school, then went to the military. So that was my track. So and this is like, first year, first semester, And so I'm like, shit. I tell her, listen, I can't see you for a few days. Like the rest of the week, I got exams. I need to study, focus on that. And so she got upset, not like angry upset, but just like, oh, come on, let me come over. Let me bang you, let me suck your dick, let me do this, right? Let me that. It was like all this, yeah. And I'm like, no, because I knew where that would lead. That would lead to us blah blah hanging out, doing stuff. And then next thing you know, I'm not getting my studying done, right? And so I wasn't about to fail. So I told her no, right? To the curb with you until my last exam on that Friday. So sometime in that week, she goes to a party. She's mad at me. Probably had like borderline personality disorder, but who knows, right? Sometime during that week, she's mad at me. She goes to some party. She gets wasted at this party. Two guys I know, like friends, right, are there, and she starts messing around with both dudes. And ends up banging at least those two at this party. So my first love banged two dudes and cheated on me, at least, maybe more. Okay. And so that's how that went down. That was my first love. No, was not in love with this girl. And I found out, I knew it was a little suspicious of some things. And when I found out that, okay, she definitely messed around at the party. And I didn't find out till a little later because these friends were worried I was going to kick their ass. But it was like, but I knew she banged somebody, right? And I dumped her. So I'm not some cuck, you bang somebody else or whatever, you're done. Okay. That was easy. And I felt relieved I got out of it because she was so demanding my time, energy. The sex was cool, but I'm like, I need to find better girl, And so that kind of started this process for me. All right, figuring some things out. And I'll get to the end and tell you why you probably aren't going to be this dude. Okay. I wasn't the dude before, I became the dude. And here's why you're probably not going to be the dude. All right. But if you are, if you can be, okay, let me tell you, it's better if you're the dude. All right. Then you're going to listen and hear this out to the end. All right. So I knew that it was going to happen. That was fine. I was fine with it. It was cool. In fact, some of her friends sought me out later because they heard, that I was doing decent enough in the bedroom. She had bragged about me because she was, it was an ego thing for her. She took my virginity. And then, of course, oh, and he's like this, like, you know, porn star in the bedroom or whatever. That was like whether true or not, that's what she told people to, brag about. Right. And so I had friends circle around, try to, hook up later, all that sort of thing. But I had thought to myself, after having done that experience, I was like, you know what? Right. I had crushed hard before this chick, somebody I never slept with, had a I mean, because this is what I had these weak behaviors with women back then when I was a teenager. And I had like a year prior had crushed really hard on some girl who friend zoned me. We went on like a couple of dates, made out a little bit, but then it was friend zone time. And I was crushing on this girl hard, like, and I had like all of the feelings for this chick, right? Didn't have the feelings for my first whatever, my first lay. But I thought to myself, okay, now if I had those feelings for this particular girl, if I had put her on that pedestal, if I had those feelings and really like felt those, like I was crushing on her, like I really wanted this chick, in my life to be my princess forever, whatever the hell I was thinking back then. Like if I had thought that and she had done this, right? Like she had done this thing where she bangs that, like just we were having crazy sex for a few months and then sleeps with a couple of my friends and whoever else at a party just to cuck me, just to get back at me because I put her on ice for a few days. If I was crushing on that girl hard, if I had emotions for that girl, I would have been done, dude. I would have been destroyed. It would have ruined my my ability to have healthy relationships later. Like I would have been screwed up. You know what I mean? And so, and who knows, right? Because I had the capacity for violence too. So, like, maybe somebody would have gotten hurt. Maybe, like, I could be in jail. Like, there's all kinds of things, bad shit that can happen that I've seen happen to other dudes. Up at that point in my life at 19, I had seen bad shit. Okay. Like, had people do bad things over girls. Right. And I'm like, whoa, I dodged a bullet there. But you know what? I'm going to never let that happen. I'm going to learn about sex and sexual psychology and all of the things that I need to learn to be a dom in the bedroom. Because at that point, I had gone to some underground, resources to learn about like some BDSM dynamics and some of those different things. Basically, I'm going to be the dude that if a girl ever comes back and says, because that was another thing, she talked shit about me to my friends because these couple of guys were like, well, I thought you were seeing Paul. And she's like, well, no, yeah, I am, but he's not doing it for me. So, like sex, she's not putting it down. Like his dick needs a break, so whatever. Like it was like disparaging, right? Just being like disparaging on my sexual self and power and stuff. It's cuck psychology. She wanted to degrade me. And women do that. They will degrade you like that. Okay. Under certain circumstances. If you go to my videos on the topic, I get in depth about that psychology. So, you know, I'm like, damn, she even talks shit about me. Now, after the events of the party and all that, then it was back to she had tried to get me back and all that stuff, right? But that was what happened there because she was mad. And so she was like going to revenge, cheat, cuck, whatever, you know? So I thought to myself, look, if I ever have women are women, I'm noticing that. So I'm having all these red pilling moments back at 19 before red pill was even a thing in the 90s. And I'm like, if this, if I'm into it with a girl, I really am into somebody, and she does that. Like if a girl ever degrades me sexually, I want to know objectively that she's full of shit because women are manipulative a lot of times. When they get upset, when they get, emotionally distraught, they can be very manipulative. And I'm not going to let my sense of self, my self esteem, my confidence be predicated on what some dumb girl says. But there's an objective nature here too. If I'm not good sexually and she's saying those things or acting like those things, is it a manipulation or is it true? Right? Is it anger because I put her on ice for a few days and she wants revenge? Or is it actually true? And I knew with this girl it wasn't true because of the many months we had up to that point that it probably wasn't that, right? That wasn't really what it was. It was more because she was mad, right? She was frustrated because I wouldn't see her for a few days. But I thought to myself, okay, you know, I'm never going to be and I'm never going to have it happen where I'm a bad lay for somebody I'm serious about. Have I been you have so many lays out there. Have I always been the best for everybody? Probably not, right? Especially throw in a little alcohol or something like that. And you guys are both wasted or something. Sometimes it doesn't, when I was younger, right? Some it might not turn out awesome, might not be the best she's ever had, but I know that I have the skill set because I did the work. What happened was after that lesson, I decided that no matter what happens, I'm going to know that I'm sexually powerful for women that I decide to have sex with, right? And for women that decide to have sex with me. I know that I'm going to have that power. I'm going to learn the psychology, learn the skill, learn the techniques. What got me into game psychology and relationship psychology, and even just human behavior in general, and caused me to, learn about it, get education on it, go to university for it. All those things, what caused me down that path was my interest in sex and sexual psychology and those dynamics. And I made that decision, and I'm glad I made that decision. So here's what happened with that decision. I learned a lot, and I continue to learn, but I learned a ton of things, and I could create an effect with women that most guys are too weak to try to learn, because guys ego protect. And I talked about this yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I recommend you watch it. It's about cheating and sex. Okay. But here's the thing. It's, what did it require? So what did end up happening here? First of all, here's the effect. The effect of it was I was pretty good. I was good in the bedroom, and I got good, and I understood sex for girls that I would be with, and they would keep coming back. I didn't have value to offer them at that age, really. I wasn't rich, wasn't making a lot of money, and wasn't even on track to make a lot of money. You know, was just a skilled laborer going to school, unskilled, really an unskilled laborer. Didn't have certifications, wasn't an electrician, did some construction work, or did some work in a restaurant, did different jobs, different things, you know what I mean? And didn't understand entrepreneurship, like didn't understand a lot in my 20s, but I knew how to bang a girl. All right. And I figured out, I knew how to do that piece. And that kept people coming back. It kept them coming back, or kept them wanting. It gave me this level of confidence too when I would deal with women, talk to them, where they would want to keep coming back, you see. And so that was the experiences, that I was the dude, the Chad that girls wanted to sleep with. Before I wasn't, then I was. All right. What did it take to be that? And this is why a lot of you dudes will never do it. A lot of you dudes will never fucking do it. All right. You're going to forever not be her first choice. Okay. Look, everybody wants a good relationship, or at least good experiences, even if they're good dating scenarios with women, where they're the first choice for that girl. And then you have segments of the internet making empty promises to you guys, saying that, yeah, you could just do this and do that and you can have it. And that's bullshit. Okay. Because they're not touching on the key points that you really need to touch on. And then you have other corners of the internet that are telling you that, nope, it's all genetically predetermined. Like, if you're not my friend Jay Waller, you're never going to be a girl's first choice. That's also bullshit. Okay. That's that kind of black pill mentality, which is genetic predeterminism. It's bullshit. Okay. And so I'll tell you from not just, it's my own experience, but also now at this point I've coached thousands of men, how you show up and the skills that you learn in the development of your value. That's what makes you her first choice. The reason why you guys won't do it is because you will protect your egos. When you guys have your soft little egos, and you saw my clickbait stuff, some of you guys were triggered because I said you're never gonna fucking do it. You got a picture of me, and Chad, and here's why I'm a Chad and you're not. So many people are gonna be all crybaby about that shit. All right, watch. And it'll be mostly on Twitter, because that's what they like to show up with their little anon accounts. There's probably, I haven't looked yet. I haven't looked in the chats. I'm sure there's some D-bags there too, maybe. If not, then that's great. That's great. And those guys, you ain't going to do shit. They ain't going to do shit. They're not going to make themselves better. So the reason I became somebody that a girl's first choice, and I'd been a girl's first choice, okay, a number of times, and I'm in a relationship and I'm her first choice. That's what matters to me the most. And that's all that matters. You don't need to be some Chad, okay, but you want to be a girl's first choice, and you want to get what you want in life. Well, that takes a couple of things that some of you guys are unwilling to do. First thing it takes is a good hard look in the mirror. All right. Right from the get go, from that experience, I didn't have an ego about it. All right. I took a hard look in the mirror at 19. I knew I was not sexually experienced in comparison to this girl. And so I needed to throw the ego away, not get butt hurt, not ask her what her body count was, and get all into my head and be a big, gigantic pussy. I needed to show up and be a man. All right. And I needed to learn what I needed to learn. And I needed to get better and learn my body and learn how to learn someone else's body and learn the psychology behind it, learn the game part. Like I needed to learn this stuff. And I went and sought out that knowledge. But that takes looking in the mirror and facing the fact that you're not it. And most of you guys sitting here, listen to me right now, are not. Maybe you've been, if you're lucky, you've been it here or there in fleeting circumstances, but you're not able to really repeat that. And you're not able to do that in a repeated way. Okay. And a lot of the people that are real popular on the internet, they're not able to do it either. All right. People that want to give you advice, a lot of these people, they can't fucking do it. They might do it now if like they have, and there's a lot of people platforms out there. So I'm trying to narrow down who I'm talking about. All right. But there's, you know, there's people out there who, because they have so many subscribers or because they have their Instagram boosted up, there's a appearance, there's a status that's there, or because of some money they've made, from doing some stuff, there's some money that's there, and then they get sexual access. They couldn't get sexual access with nothing. They couldn't get that if they were like living out of their car in between deployments, like this guy. Okay. They couldn't, because they don't know how to have that inner sense of confidence and how to offer benefit and value to someone else, a girl actually that would be attracted to them through the seductive experience and through the sexual experience. They offer their status, they offer their cool car or boat, or whatever. You know what I mean? They offer for drug dealers offer their drugs, right? Like these guys are all bringing stuff that they offer women. And sure, they learn a bit about women because they're certainly learning more than the guys who don't have access at all. But they're not your, what we could call the Chad necessarily, right? They don't know how to stimulate those emotions and feelings with somebody that they're with. And they're not the girl's first choice. They're just the guy the girl will choose because she can get a weekend on a boat this weekend, or the guy the girl will choose so that she can get a little clout or maybe boost up her Instagram or whatever she's trying to do. You see what I mean? It's not going to be because she has this crazy desire for the dude. All right, there's guys out there that can develop that have that, but they're not there's not as many of them out there. But I'm telling you that this is a learned skill. And the guys that are ego protecting, the guys that are capping, the guys that are using their little coping mechanisms, you're never going to do it. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and understand that you aren't it yet and that you have some things you need to improve on. That's the only way. Down to the way your little pee-pee works. Okay. Down to what happens in the most intimate, exposed, situation you could be in with some other female. Right. And so they don't know. A lot of you guys are not willing. Look at yesterday's show. There are guys in there, not too many, because I pretty much took a big heavy hand with it, right? But like on Twitter, different things, there's guys that they can't face the fact that most dudes are bad at sex, and that includes them. And girls cheat mostly, oftentimes, because of that. All right, there's a few exceptions, okay, but you don't know you're the exception because you've never done any kind of education, training, learning Nothing. You haven't done any work. Okay. In fact, even the red pill space doesn't talk about sex. Have you noticed that? Ego protection. All right. Sterling does. Sterling Cooper does because he was a porn star. But most of the space, they don't want to touch the fucking subject. All right. And there's a lot of dumb ideas going around that I hear people saying because they've never done the education. They've never learned the shit. Right. Because they're too busy protecting their own little fragile egos. And that's why you won't be successful, because you will protect your fragile ego. You won't do what it takes to learn shit. You won't subscribe to this channel. You should subscribe to this channel. You should hit the like button. You won't do it because you're mad because of my profile, my thumbnail, right, or whatever. You won't do it because you won't do the work. I have programs available. Okay. Working on the mindset down to the game and the seduction skills for a year. My year-long seductions program is in the comments, or not comments, but in the show notes. You can click there, book a free appointment to see if you're a good candidate. You won't do it. Most of you won't do it. Most of you will waste your time watching bullshit, grifting stuff on the internet. All right. Binge watching YouTube, getting fucking nowhere. That's what most of you are going to do because you can't handle it. Your egos are too fucking fragile. You're not a man. You're weak and you won't do it. Now, that's not all of you. Obviously, I got guys here some of you guys are listening to me right now. You guys are the shit. You guys are doing the work. Whether you do my program or not do my program, a lot of you guys are doing the work and making yourselves better. And so I'm not talking to you when I say those comments, right? I have, just a hair under 19,000, subscribers. And then I get more engagement, a little bit more engagement than that. But I might have, 1,000 people that'll watch this video before it's all done, maybe 1,200. There's 500,000 people that'll watch other red pill shit and won't do any fucking work. None of it. All right. And that's why they'll never be the Chad. And it's not that you need to be the Chad, but you need to experience being her best choice. All right. And that means you're going to have to learn some things, and you're going to have to learn how to do it in the bedroom. You can't be her average sex partner who's all right in bed and be her best choice. Those two things don't go together. Okay. You have to be her best choice. She would have sex with you even if she, if you guys ever broke up, she would miss the sex. That's how it have to be. You have to be her best option in the bedroom as well as outside the bedroom. All of it. The burden of performance, right? Most of you guys, you won't do it. You're going to ego protect instead. You're going to be little douchebags and you're not going to do it. And that's just the way it is. And that's why you won't get anywhere. Okay. You're going to have it's an inner game too. There's things wrong with your inner game. I got a very low cost program, Alpha Mindset course. You can keep it for life. Yes. I say low cost. I mean, it's an average. I'd say it's about mid-range cost. You won't do it. You won't do that work. The guys who are doing the work though, they'll know what it's like. They'll know what it's like to be their best version of themselves. They don't have to be a Chad by your standards, my standards, or anybody else's, right? They're going to be themselves and they're going to have success, and they're doing it. They're doing it every day. They're getting closer to the goal, or they're absolutely achieving the goal. All right. They're the guy that she will pick, not the guy that she will settle with. Those are those guys. And they're all different backgrounds, all different, levels of financial success, all different ages, all different genetic qualities, right? It's a skill set. But it's not just a skill set. It's also a mindset. You have to have the mindset to be able to bag your ego, look in the mirror, be a man, be a dominant male where you say, okay, I see where my deficiencies are, or I know I'm deficient and I don't even know where they are. I know that I'm not as good as I need to be. And so I just know that I'm going to make myself better and not be a crybaby about it. Right. Not find ways to rationalize to make myself feel better. Gee, maybe if I just ruminate more about my problems and talk to more people about it and jerk myself off to try to understand it, then maybe, things will get better. How about just get better and get better skills? That's what you have to do. Like I said, I chose violence this week. I'm just a little bit tired of guys not taking fucking responsibility for themselves. All right. Well, I'm gonna go into some of the comments now. We got, and then we're gonna close off. Why can't I pull 10s on Tinder? Only getting 8s. I have good photos. Yeah. Too simpy. I don't know, man. I'd have to look at your profile. We'd have to look at what you're doing. Off of a chat, comment. I can't tell. I can look at somebody's stuff when, like guys in my group, if they post their shit, like we can get them dialed in a lot better. You know what I mean? And determine what it is, that's going wrong. All right. Um, no such thing as tens, friend. Okay. So, anyways, what else do we got? Yes, that is correct. I really don't have that much of an ego. I do have a low tolerance for people who don't help themselves, though, and aren't willing to. It's not just about me. Like I said, if you go somewhere else and do it, that's fine. Um, cool. What else do we got? Yeah. So really, that's it. That's about it, guys. So what do you need to do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna look in the mirror? Or are you gonna be jealous, triggered, upset, have all kinds of inner game problems, limiting your beliefs and thoughts, unwilling to learn skills, unwilling to recognize that you need to learn more? Is that what you're gonna do? Right? Here's a good comment here. Nobody's coming to save you. Choose the discomfort of being a loser or choose the discomfort of constantly improving yourself. Jake, I love that quote, man. And you know what? That is a good quote to close this on. Catch you later.